Welcome to the JTV News Update. I am Sean Rose. BVI Finance recently completed a round of events in Chile, Monaco, and the United States of America to promote the various services offered by BVI Finance. Executive Director of BVI Finance, Mr. Julian Johnson, is here with us to talk to us about that trip and give us some insights about the various activities that took place during that activity. Now, Johnson, a series of events. It's a very competitive industry these days. What took place there?
Well, at all three events, really, we were showcasing the Bvi'S financial services products, different products for different events, obviously. Monaco is an event that we have participated in now for many, many years, where we promote the shipping registry and the BVI as a territory for the registration of yachts and super yachts. So that was our focus again this year. We had quite a bit of participation from the private sector, as well as the Virgin Islands Shipping Registry. So we had a number of very productive meetings with some of the largest brokers in the world and agents, as well as a number of law firms that deal specifically with yacht registration. So it was relationship building. We got a lot of very frank feedback about the registry and some of the things that we need to do to be more competitive. So it's really now to build on that information and build the relationships and move the registry forward. That, of course, would be led by the Virgin Islands Shipping Registry that has a very competent team that's working very hard to build the registry. The other two events, one was geared towards the captives sector. That was held in Chile towards the end of September. That's a fairly new region for us, a new market, I would say. And it was really just to showcase the BVI as a preferred domicile for captive business.
If you don't mind, explain for us captive in a nutshell.
A captive is really a tool used by companies to almost as a form of self-insurance. It's been around for quite some time, and the BVI has been a significant player in the captives market for quite some time. We have quite a bit of work to do to catch up with some of our competitors, but we are actually about to embark on a program which will see a re-energizing of the captive sector very soon. And the BVI was there to promote that. Again, we had private sector participation, as we usually do from our team down there, Team LATAM. And it was really a 2-day event focused on building some relationships in that market and introducing the BVI. We also had an opportunity to introduce the funds products, the 2 new funds products that were introduced earlier this year. So it was a good opportunity to speak to that market. The other event that we participated was a fund-specific event in New York, and that was on October 1st. And again, that was our prime focus was introducing the 2 new fund products to that audience. We had 2 private sector speakers there as well. BVI Finance didn't have a physical presence, but we were the facilitators, and the person speaking was speaking on our behalf, promoting the territory. And again, it was promoting the funds products. All this is really towards a wider approach of marketing the jurisdiction as a jurisdiction of choice for financial services products.
And within the context of the very competitive and critically so in some cases environment these days for the international finance sector, how important were those trips and of course those that will come in the future?
I think they were very important. I think one of the things that we're looking at doing in the future is hosting some of our own events. So that they're BVI specific. I think the challenge is that some of these conferences you can get lost because there's so many other jurisdictions there all competing for the same business. So in 2016, and we're actually working on those marketing plans right now, we're planning to move back to the BVI Roadshow model, where we're going to be hosting BVI specific events in the different markets, including Latin America, New York, London, in Hong Kong, and 1 or 2 other markets as well. So that is part of our focus for the next year.
I've heard from the Minister of Finance, Premier Dr. Orlando Smith, that many of your competitors have adopted some of your strategies and some of the best practices as it relates to BVI Finance. How much more competitive or how difficult it is now for you to compete?
Well, they say, what is it? They say that to mock someone is a form of flattery, or to emulate them is a form of flattery. The BVI has been a leader in a lot of these areas. And so it's not surprising that some other jurisdictions have modeled themselves after us. It's becoming more and more competitive, and it is a bit of a wake-up call for the BVI, I think, which is why you would have heard very recently with the launching of the McKinsey report and BVI Forward initiative, the whole issue of value-added services, moving beyond incorporations and getting involved in some of the meatier parts of the business. So I think that is the vision for the BVI, and I think that's the track that we're on to add in more value to the business that we're in, hence making us more competitive.
And what are you asking of the local, the private sector in particular, to assist BVI Finance in strengthening the product that you offer?
Well, I would say that we've always had tremendous support from the private sector. You would know that we have a group called Team BVI, which is entirely private sector, who we can call on to assist us with our marketing efforts. They guide us in a lot of the areas in terms of our marketing. They're the people that we can call on to be speakers when we have conferences. So there's tremendous support from the private sector as it is. As BVI Finance evolves, and one of the recommendations coming from the McKinsey report is a complete revamping of the organization, which includes moving more towards a private sector driven body. So you'll see more and more private sector participation as the organization evolves.
Thank you so much, Mr. Julian Johnson, Executive Director of BVI Finance, reporting on the recent round of events in Chile, Monaco, and the USA. Sean Rose reporting live from the Cutlass Tower on the 4th floor for JTV News Update.